Let's talk about the Netherlands, coached by Ronald Koeman, ranked number 7 in FIFA's rankings right now, and finished second in Euros qualification behind the one and only France, who is in this group and is a team that they could not defeat in 2 separate bouts. You got guys like Memphis Depay, Gravenberch, Jeremy Frimpong, Frankie de Jong, Gakpo, Xavi Simons, and then it gets really fun when you look at the defense. De Vrij, Nathan Ake, De Ligt, Van de Ven from Tottenham, and now Van Dijk. Before we get into any deep analysis, is this the best defense in Europe? Because we just spoke about France's being very, very good. Does the Netherlands have a better defense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, from an individual perspective, I think the Netherlands boast the most star center backs at the Euros. Dude. It's kind of nuts, bro. I mean, again, Nathan Ake, Stefan de Vrij, Virgil van Dijk, Mickey van de Ven, who just had an incredible season at Tottenham. Like, those are 4 world-class center backs, and only 2 or 3 of them can play. That's the crazy part.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's up there, bro. I think it's one of the best ones in Europe for sure. Maybe the goalkeeper holds him back a little bit.
Yeah, the goalkeeping situation is really interesting because remember at the World Cup they brought a guy who had just made his debut essentially. Sillison's obviously no longer part of this Dutch squad as he's now up there in age. So yeah, the goalkeeping situation is kind of wide open. So if you're Dutch, man, and you're a goalkeeper, you could maybe find yourself into the 11, bro.
You got a great chance. You got a great defense in front of you. Since the World Cup ended, the Netherlands have lost to Germany, France, Italy, and Croatia. That's my biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Can they win 6 out of 7 games in this tournament in order to lift the trophy? I get worried because when you look at how they match up against elite squads, they seem to struggle, bro. And that's really surprising given the talent and the names on paper. But I think it's what makes this Netherlands team, this Dutch team, a little weird to assess because you can speak super highly about their defense. You can even speak really highly about their midfield. Offensively, I think the same questions remain as we had going into the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Can you really rely on Cody Gakpo, Memphis Depay once again? The rise of Xavi Simons might have an impact on this team.
It might.
Daniel Malin is also playing really good football. Weghorst is on this team and Bergwijn too. Are these guys enough to match the level of the midfield and defense to really elevate this team against top teams in Europe? That's where I get a little questionable because so far, I don't think we've seen that.
The thing is I think their offense is actually decent. Obviously more than decent. If you have a front 2 of, let's say, Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo, you could also go Memphis Depay and Weghorst if you want something a little bit more direct. Or if you want to get creative, you could go Memphis Depay and Xavi Simons, or you pair Xavi Simons with somebody. There's actually a lot of different combinations that Koeman can go with. He has not cemented a pairing yet. He keeps rotating every single game. But I think that's a good thing because you could just rotate these 5 players in and out for the entire tournament, and I actually think it'll keep their offense very fresh because each one of those players has a completely different style of attack. And then underneath that, you have Thierry Reinders, who has had an excellent season at AC Milan this year. He had a really good season the year prior when he went all the way to the Conference League semifinals with AZ Alkmaar. This is one of the more silky attacking midfielders, and he's making a name for himself as we speak. I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for him to show himself on a global stage. So offensively, I'm actually not too worried about the Dutch. And when you look at the wingbacks, I mean, it's Denzel Dumfries, one of the best. He's been one of the best wingbacks in Italy on that right-hand side. Or, dude, you could play Frimpong. I think that's insane depth. Yeah. Being able to have both of those guys, or you play Dumfries and Frimpong in a wing position, and you just have double overload from an attacking perspective on that right-hand side. And then on the left, you have Daley Blind, the tried and true trusty old man in Daley Blind. He does not step a foot wrong, doing incredible things with Girona this year. So going forward, I'm actually not worried about the Dutch. They've proven that they can score against the world's best. It's contradictory because it's their defense that's the problem.
How's that?
It's the defense. They lead goals, bro. Every single game that they play, they concede at least 1 or 2. And clean sheets just doesn't exist with this Dutch side. And I think it makes sense because I don't know if it's so much the defense's fault, but I think it's the midfield, man. If you look at the 2 midfielders that is probably going to be, because you have a very attacking Thierry Reinders as the attacking midfielder, then all that's left is Frankie de Jong, not known for his
healthy.
defense, right? If he's healthy, and then there's really no one else to put alongside Frankie De Jong. I don't think Coleman knows who he's going to put there either. It could have been Darun, but he's out, unfortunately. Really sucks because he had such a good season with Atalanta, and he's been good there for a couple years now. But it's that defensive midfield for the Netherlands, they just don't provide enough coverage for the back line. So it's very silky. It's very entertaining when the Dutch go forward, at least from a creative perspective, but it leaves holes at the back. And it doesn't matter how good Van Dijk, Ake are, they can't cover that much space. And I think just the communication breaks down, and if Dumfries and Daley Blind are up like they usually are, it's like a 3-on-3 situation at times. So I think that's where the Netherlands just get kind of done in, is it's in transition. When they lose the ball and they have too many men committed forward, they are very, very vulnerable. But I think it's what makes Dutch games really fun to watch, man.
They're going to be really fun.
It's really fun to watch, yeah.
Dutch football is a must-watch this tournament, for sure. I'm with you, because of how open they might be at times or how forward-thinking they are as well. But it's that exactly that makes me a little worried about them, because when I look at their record against top teams, I already mentioned it, losses to Germany, to France twice in their group, Italy, Croatia. I think there's a clear gap between the Netherlands and the top teams in Europe. I see them as a second-tier team right now, man. I really do. And it's unfortunate because they have the names on paper to be much better than that. But whether it's on Coleman, whether it's on the chemistry, the dynamic that exists within this team, I don't think it's enough to be able to lift the Euros trophy this year. And so I ultimately don't have them as a contender, but I do have them getting out of this group in second place. I'm going to say that much.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I could say so many negative things about the Netherlands, but they're paradoxical because I honestly think this team could make a deep run. I label them as basically dark horses of this tournament. I don't see them as title contenders. But if they make a nice quarterfinals appearance and get very close to semis, I'll be like, yeah, this is the quality that the Netherlands possess. We saw it at the World Cup. Like, this is largely the same team that went there a year and a half ago, and they were a penalty shootout away from beating Argentina, right? So this Dutch side can beat anybody. They just don't show that they can often, and I think that's why it's frustrating if you're probably a Dutch fan. But I think those negative points that we critiqued is why I have an organized team like Austria taking advantage of them in this group stage. So I go Austria second, but Netherlands very, very close behind them in third, and I would have the Netherlands definitively qualifying as a third place team.
I think that match will be really close. That Netherlands-Austrian match is going to be a banger, bro. It's going to be incredible to see.
Yeah.
I do think the injury of Schlager will impact this team a little bit, and will get them the third place spot. Netherlands gets second, but interchangeable for me. I'll take any opinion here. But folks, let me know, what do you think about this Dutch side? Do you trust them more than we do, or are you as questionable of them as we are? I got Netherlands in second, you got them in third.